Welcome student. In this class we will discuss atmospheric pressure as well as wind circulation, more particularly primary circulation. Getting well now? Ac- There are three important factors affecting the atmospheric condition of any area. First factor is temperature, second factor is pressure, and third factor is humidity, that is moisture content of the air. Atmospheric pressure is defined as weight of one column of air. Weight of one column of air. It is defined as weight of one column of air and is expressed in terms of millibar. Okay. The highest atmospheric pressure so far recorded on the earth है ना, is 1082 millibar. It was recorded in Siberia. Why not in Arctic Sea? You see one important point. It was recorded in Siberia. Siberia is the continental part. Arctic Sea, the oceanic region. Over the continent, the air remained dry, and over the oceanic area, it remained moist. And moist air is relatively light as compared to that of dry air. So that's why high pressure was recorded in Siberia, but not in Antarctica. Getting well now? So it was 1082 millibar, right? And minimum atmospheric pressure so far recorded is 877 millibar. 877 millibar is the minimum atmospheric pressure so far recorded. So it means 1082 millibar. 1082 millibar is the maximum atmospheric pressure and 877 millibar is the minimum atmospheric pressure so far recorded. Okay, and average atmospheric pressure is 1013 millibar. Getting well now? Actually, it is defined as the weight of one column of air. Suppose this is the Earth's surface and this is one column of air. Getting well now? So the weight of the entire air which act on the Earth's surface is referred to as atmospheric pressure now, right? It is measured with the help of barometer. Getting well? Actually, the line joining the same atmospheric pressure is referred to as isobar. If isobar on the map is drawn and they are close to each other, it indicates the high pressure, and the area where isobar are widely spaced indicate the low pressure. Getting well now? Right? So what is atmospheric pressure? Got it? Atmospheric pressure is defined as the weight of one column of air, and atmospheric pressure is associated with temperature, depends on temperature also. You know that according to gaseous law, T is inversely proportional to P. Getting well now? So here temperature will be high, pressure is low. This is in case of open system, okay, but not in case of closed system. I have already mentioned it that in closed system, T is directly proportional to P. If you will fill a cylinder with the gas, this will be the example of closed system. Now, in this case, temperature is directly proportional to pressure. But in case of open system, temperature is inversely proportional to pressure, and since atmosphere is the example of open system, that's why T is inversely proportional to P, follow in context of atmosphere. Getting well now? Temperature, you know, depends on the climate, that is angle of insolation, and you know that there is latitudinal distribution of insolation on the Earth's surface. Highest temperature is recorded, angle of insolation is maximum in the polar zone, you know, it is almost 90 degrees. Getting well? And as we move towards the North Pole as well as South Pole, since angle of insolation gradually decreases, so that's why gradual decrease in the temperature is recorded, and the polar zone angle of insolation is almost zero, right? And beyond 66.5 degree north and south, that is beyond polar circle, angle of insolation range between 0 to 30 degree. Okay, at the polar region it is almost parallel. That's why total internal reflection occurs, and hence a imaginary figure of the sun appear in the sky even in the night. That's why Norway is referred to as land of midnight sun. Getting well? So it is clear that equator is the zone of highest temperature, no? Right? And the pole is the zone having minimum temperature. Okay? So in this case, as you will march from the equator toward the pole, the temperature gradually decreases. There is a decreasing trend of temperature, है ना, in poleward direction, you can say poleward direction. It is clear, na? And since temperature is inversely proportional to P, so that's why pressure is expected to increase gradually in the poleward direction. Okay, is gradually expected to increase in the poleward direction. Na? Okay, just I am citing an example. On this basis, you can say that if suppose at the equatorial zone, the average pressure is, suppose 890 millibar, then after it will be 900 millibar. It may be 900, then 950 millibar, 950 millibar, right? Then 1000 millibar, and in this way the pressure will gradually increase. And in the same way, in southern pole, the same will be repeated. Is expected to be repeated. It is clear now. So as the temperature decreases, pressure should gradually increase, and hence a regular pattern of increasing pressure is expected when one moves from the equator to the pole. Right? This is the normal expectation. Okay? But this not actually happen. On the Earth's surface, there exists alternative distribution of pressure. That is, low pressure and high pressure are alternatively found on the Earth's surface. Okay, you must keep in mind if wherever there occur upliftment of the air. Okay, this is air current, no vertical movement, na. So it will cause low pressure. Getting well? And whenever downward descent of the air will occur, it will create high pressure on the surface. Right? Upward upliftment of the air will cause low pressure. It will cause cyclonic condition, and it favor the cloud formation and hence rainfall. On the other hand, if there is descending tendency of the air, it creates high pressure, anticyclonic condition prevail there, and it will impart atmospheric stability. Desert-like condition prevail there, as the rainfall will get minimized. Okay, so similar is the case anywhere in the Earth's surface. Okay, so actually on the Earth's surface, you see what is the reality. Though according to the distribution of temperature, actually gradual increase in the pressure is expected now, but this is not the reality. On the Earth's surface, there exists 7 pressure on the Earth's surface. Okay, 7 pressure belt on the Earth's surface, and they are found alternatively. Okay, suppose this is Earth's surface. Now this is 0 degree, 0 degree, 0 to 10 degree north, 10 degree south, 10 degree south, 10 degree south. This is first belt. This is referred to as equatorial low pressure belt. Getting well now? विषुवत-रेखीय निम्न दबाव पेटी, equatorial low pressure belt. Getting well? Again, here there is a pressure belt between 25 to 35 degree latitude, 25 degree north and 35 degree north. Okay, again in southern hemisphere the same is repeated. This is 25 degree south and 35 degree south. It is clear now? This pressure belt is referred to as subpolar, subtropical, high pressure belt. Okay, and this is also in southern hemisphere. This is also subtropical, tropical high pressure belt. Okay, again you see between 60 to 65 degree latitude in northern hemisphere, 60 to 65, 60 degree north and 65 degree north. This is subpolar low, polar low pressure belt. Okay, in northern hemisphere, and also in southern hemisphere, the same, that is 62 degrees south to 65 degrees south. There is subpolar low pressure belt, polar low pressure belt, and at the pole there is a polar high pressure belt. Okay, polar high pressure belt at the north pole, also polar high pressure belt at the south pole. It is clear now? So actually you see there is a single equatorial low pressure belt. The single equatorial low pressure belt exists between, this is first now, this is first one. So this is first located between 0 to 10 degree north and south. This is referred to as equatorial low pressure belt. Okay, right? Second one is between 25 to 35 degree north and south. This is subtropical high pressure belt. Getting well? Third one is 60 to 65 degree north and south. This is subpolar low pressure belt. And fourth one is polar high pressure belt. Getting well now? So we have 4 pressure belt on the Earth's surface. First, second, third, fourth. Right? This is second, third, fourth. Getting well now? Equatorial low pressure belt is located in the central part. Right? It is single in number. Okay, it is 2 in number, 1 in north pole and second is the south pole. It is also 2 in number, 1 is the north pole and second in the south pole, and this is also 2 in number, and its total number of pressure belt is 7. Okay, so there exists 7 pressure belt on the Earth's surface, and these pressure belt are found in alternative way. This is low pressure, then high pressure, then low pressure, then high pressure, and same is repeated in southern hemisphere. Low pressure, then high pressure, then low pressure, then high pressure. Getting well? Okay, so we have 7 pressure belt on the Earth's surface. In low pressure, right, you know that low pressure is due to upward upliftment of the air. High pressure is due to downward descent of the air. Again, if this is low pressure, it must be due to upward upliftment of the air, and this high pressure must be due to downward descent of the air. Okay, here this is subtropical high pressure belt, so certainly it will be due to downward descent of the air. This is low pressure because of the upward upliftment of the air, and this is due to downward descent of the air. So there exists 7 pressure belt on the Earth's surface. One is found in the central part, known as equatorial low pressure belt, and second is subtropical high pressure belt, third one is subpolar, and fourth one is polar high. Okay, 3 pressure belt are found in northern hemisphere, 3 are found in the southern hemisphere, and 1 is found in the central part. Okay, since there is unequal distribution of land and the sea in northern hemisphere, that's why pressure belts are not so continuous in northern hemisphere, but there is a dominance of the ocean in the south. Southern hemisphere is referred to as water hemisphere. That's why pressure belt is almost continuous. Okay, and well marked, well identified. Getting well now? So it is clear that we have 7 pressure belt on the Earth's surface. Now one will discuss one by one how pressure belt is created. It is clear now? So actually I given a normal particularly idea to you, I think that you have particularly noted it down now. Again, see, as far as the question of pressure belt is concerned, this is also visible now. Lower part. Okay. You see, I am just repeating this figure, one figure. It will make the matter more clear. Okay. Actually, suppose this is 0 degree, this is 10 degree north, 10 degree south, 10 degree north, 10 degree south. Okay. Certainly it is equatorial low pressure belt. Then this is 25 degree, 25 degree north, and 35 degree north, This is 60 degree north, 60 degree north, and 65 degree north, and this is near the pole for 70 to 90 degree north. Getting well now? And same is repeated in southern hemisphere. So here it is 25 degree south to 35 degree south. Again 62 here 60 degrees south and 65 degrees south, and here particularly 90 degrees south. Getting well now? Okay. This first one is equatorial low pressure belt. This is second belt, subtropical high pressure, and this is also subtropical high pressure. Getting well? This is subpolar low. This is also subpolar low. Getting well now? And this fourth one is polar high, and this is also polar high. It is clear now? So in totality we have 7 pressure belt on the earth now. I made it clear that low pressure and high pressure is due to the upliftment and downward descent of the air. Getting well now? Upward and downward descent of the air. Getting well? You have noted this down now. Okay. See, as far as the question of equatorial low pressure belt is concerned, I will discuss the origin of every pressure belt separately. Okay. So as far as the question of formation of equatorial low pressure belt, so equatorial low pressure belt is produced between 0 to 10 degree north and south. Now 0 to 10 degree north and south. Getting well? Actually, you see what is the basic character of this zone. This is the zone where at least once in a year vertical insolation is received. Getting well now? Since temperature is very high, that's why there occur upliftment of the air in this zone. And when upliftment of the air will occur, it will certainly create low pressure, and hence equatorial low pressure belt is referred to as thermally induced low pressure belt. It is clear now? Right? And it extends between 0 to 10 degree in north and south. Getting well? So equatorial low pressure belt is thermally induced low pressure belt. Right? Thermally induced, it is due to the upward upliftment of the air, and since temperature of this zone is very high, that's why intense convectional phenomena occur in this zone. Due to intense convectional phenomena, you see convection will cause the cloud formation. So every day up to 2 p.m. there occur intense convectional phenomena. Every day in the evening there occur intense convectional rainfall, and the night remain clear, sky remain clear in the night. So this is the peculiarity of the climatic condition existing in this zone, and this is referred to as equatorial type of climate. Okay. What is the characteristic of equatorial type of climate? It is clear now? Intense convectional activity occur throughout the day up to 2 p.m. Then in every evening the area record intense convectional rainfall, and in the night the sky remain clear. Okay. So this zone is the zone of highest rainfall zone on the earth's surface. It is clear now? Equatorial low pressure belt is the rainiest belt of the world. Okay, but rainiest spot in the world is Mansinram. Previously it was Cherrapunji in Meghalaya. It is clear this is one spot, but it is the entire belt. Okay, the equatorial low pressure belt is characterized by winterless climate because annual temperature difference is very low. There is no marked reduction in the temperature. That's why winter not occur, and hence it is referred to as seasonless climate. What is the character of equatorial low pressure belt? It is clear now. And in the central part of actually what happened, you see, this is 0 degree, this is 10 degree, this is 10 degree. Okay, from this part you see, from this part northeast trade wind blow, and from this side particularly at south, this is northeast trade wind of northern hemisphere, and this is southeast trade wind of southern hemisphere. Okay, the trade wind of northern hemisphere is referred to as northeast trade wind because the naming of the wind is done on the basis of the direction through which it appears to be coming. Since this trade wind appears to be coming from northeast, that's why it is referred to as northeast trade wind, and this is referred to as southeast trade wind. Got it now? The trade wind is the wind of the tropical zone. That's why trade wind is broadly referred to as tropical winds. Okay, both the trade wind are referred to as tropical wind, and see, both the trade wind converge between 0 to 10 now. That's why 0 to 10 degree latitude is also referred to as intertropical convergence zone, ITCZ. Okay, why it is referred to as ITCZ? It is clear now. As the trade wind of both the hemisphere, that is tropical wind of both the hemisphere, converge between 0 to 10 degree north and south. That's why this zone is referred to as intertropical convergence zone. Okay, actually why it is referred to as intertropical convergence zone, it is clear now. देखिए, one wind is coming from this side, another wind is coming from this side, and you know that the temperature condition of this zone is so high, so then the wind ascend in upward direction. Okay, uplift in upward direction. Because of the upliftment of the wind, low pressure is created in this zone. It is clear now? Low pressure is created in this zone. What is the characteristic of ITCZ? It is clear now? Why this belt is referred to as ITCZ? Why equatorial low pressure belt is referred to as ITCZ? Because this is the zone of convergence of tropical wind of both the hemisphere, that trade wind of the both of the hemisphere. Northeast trade wind blow in northern hemisphere, whereas southeast trade wind blow in southern hemisphere. Now, there occur convergence of both the wind in between 0 to 10. That's why this zone is referred to as intertropical convergence zone. Getting well now? Okay, and you see, since the wind uplift, so in central part, I had said that if air blow in horizontal way, then it is referred to as wind. But if it blow vertically, then it is referred to as current. Na? So in central part of ITCZ, that is equatorial low pressure belt, between 0 to 5 degree north and 5 degree south. This is the central part now, right? In this central part, there is no effective wind, surface wind. Na? There is a dominance of air current. Okay, this part is referred to as doldrum. DOLDRUM, doldrum, or zone of calm. Okay, it means the central part of ITCZ located between 5 degree north to 5 degree south is referred to as doldrum. This is doldrum belt, right? And a central part of equatorial low pressure belt is doldrum belt. This is central part. We're getting well now, and this is referred to as zone of calm, right? This area, in the zone of doldrum, surface wind are not effective. There is a dominance of air current. That's why calm condition prevail in this zone. Actually, you see, so according to some geographers, some climatologists, there occur the formation of low pressure cell and high pressure cell in this zone, right? Temporarily produced, there occur the formation of low pressure and high pressure cell temporarily, that causes the change in the direction of the wind rapidly. That's why this zone is referred to as doldrum, the zone of uncertainty. It is clear na? So either this zone is referred to as doldrum or zone of uncertainty. Okay, how equatorial low pressure belt is created, it is clear na? Okay, getting well now? देखिए इक्वेटोरियल लो प्रेशर बेल्ट इज द जोन ऑफ हाई टेम्परेचर एंड इट इज द रेनिएस्ट बेल्ट ऑफ द वर्ल्ड ना. तो हाई टेम्परेचर एंड हाई रेनफॉल बोथ आर फेवरेबल एंड मोस्ट आइडियल कंडीशन फॉर द डेवलपमेंट ऑफ वेजिटेशन ना. दैट्स वाई in this zone equatorial evergreen forests are found. Okay, since there is high competition among the vegetation to get direct vertical insolation, that's why height of vegetation grow rapidly. So this zone is characterized by high tree. Okay, and hence there is the dominance of avians, that is flying bird in this zone. Running bird is not normally found in this zone, right? Because on the ground there is least vegetation. Okay, right? Mainly flying birds are found. What is the characteristic of the zone? It is clear now. And you see it is thermally induced. It means it is associated with the solar radiation. Though with the northward and southward shifting of the sun, there also occurred northward and southward shifting of ITCZ. Okay, so the shifting of ITCZ in northern hemisphere is more as compared to that of southern hemisphere, because in northern hemisphere there is a dominance of the continent. Okay, and in southern hemisphere there is a dominance of the ocean. You know that a specific heat of continent is low, है ना, as compared to that of the water ना. So that's why continents are warmed quickly. That's why shifting is more in the northern hemisphere as compared to that of southern hemisphere. Getting well now? Again you see in northern hemisphere also there is no uniform shifting of ITCZ. In Africa the average shifting of ITCZ is maximum up to 20 degree north latitude, but in India its maximum shifting in the world is recorded and it is up to 35 degree north latitude. Getting well now? Right? Floon was the important geographer. You see, Floon was the important geographer who studied the trend of shifting of the ITCZ and concluded that even in over Indian subcontinent, the shifting of ITCZ is not uniform every year. Sometimes the shifting is up to 35 degree north latitude. Sometimes shifting is effective only up to 17 degree north latitude. Okay, so actually if there is during pre-monsoonal season, that is between March, April and May, there occur intense है ना, intense snowfall in Himalayan region. It is clear ना? In this and snowfall and hailstorm in the Indian subcontinent. In this case, in the coming June, ITCZ will be not well developed na, and its effectiveness is observed only up to 17 degree north. Okay, right? But if there is no heavy rainfall or snowfall during pre-monsoonal season, so normally ITCZ will shift up to 35 degree north latitude. And when ITCZ shift up to 35 degree north latitude, it provides very ideal condition for monsoonal wind to cause rainfall. And during this period, rainfall will be very effective, positive, and intense rainfall will be received in India. It is clear, na? Over precipitation will be recorded. Okay, and Indian river will get flooded. Okay. On the other hand, the year when ITCZ shift only up to 70 degree north latitude, during this period, rainfall will be adversely affected. India will get a scanty rainfall, and the most part of the Indian subcontinent will suffer from drought. So this explanation is referred to as ITCZ theory, and it was propounded by Floon, okay, a famous climatologist. Getting well now? So ITCZ is very relevant for determining the Indian climatic condition. Okay, right? It is also relevant to determine the economic scenario of India, because in case of over precipitation, very good agricultural production will be recorded. In case of adverse rainfall, right, low production will be recorded. So there will be problem of the scarcity of food grain, and if it will continue for a long time, it will cause starvation. Okay, so this is of relevance for India. Okay. Another country, other monsoonal country too. Okay, it is clear. So actually, what is the characteristic of equatorial low pressure? It is clear. Now, see, second subtropical high pressure belt. The subtropical high pressure belt is found, is located on either side of the equatorial low pressure belt between 25 degree to 35 degree north and south. Okay, it is clear that this is high pressure belt. Getting it clear na? If you will compare this belt with the heating effect produced by the sun, actually this pressure belt is very close to that of 23.5 degree north and 23.5 degree south. This is referred to as Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. Okay, or broadly these lines are referred to as a line of tropics. Right, this line of tropics form the boundary line of the tropical zone. Okay, you know that sun shine vertically on Tropic of Cancer on 21st June, which is referred to as summer solstice, and sun shine vertically over Tropic of Capricorn on 22nd December, which is referred to as winter solstice. It is clear now? So since this zone, this pressure belt 25 to 35 is very close to that of the warm latitude, you can say tropical latitude, so that's why high temperature prevail there. In this case, low pressure is expected in this zone, but against this there occur the formation of high pressure in this belt. Okay, so that's why one can say that thermal theory is not capable to explain this fact. Okay, and this pressure belt, that is subtropical high pressure belt in both the hemisphere, is dynamically induced pressure belt, because the wind which divert in poleward direction from the equatorial zone, the wind uplift here you see, right, in this equatorial low pressure, the wind uplift here and divert in poleward direction. It is clear na? Poleward direction, right? Due to Coriolis force, the wind are deflected and caused to divert in downward direction, right, in between 25 to 35 degree latitude in both the hemisphere. And you know that whenever there will be descending tendency of the wind, it will create high pressure, and that's why high pressure belt is formed between 25 to 35 degree latitude, and hence it is referred to as dynamically induced low pressure high pressure belt. Getting well now? Though thermal condition not permit the formation of high pressure in the zone, but the Coriolis force played important role. Coriolis force is the force which originates due to dynamism of the earth on its axis, rotation of the earth on its axis, and this force was first noticed by Coriolis. That's why it is referred to as Coriolis force now. And due to Coriolis force, the wind are diverted to descend downward, wind are diverted to sink in downward direction, producing low pressure high pressure belt in between 25 to 35 degree latitude. So it means it is dynamically induced pressure belt. Okay, and actually pressure belt is downward descending. You see, I had said that downward descending tendency will create high pressure on one hand. It will create anticyclonic condition, and in anticyclonic condition no cloud formation occur, and hence desert like condition, dryness prevail in this zone. That's why most of the desert in the world are located in this zone. Getting well now? Right? Though there are certain other intervening factors, right? It will be discussed later. It is clear now? But most of the desert are found in subtropical high pressure belt, more particularly in the western part of the continent. It is clear now? Western part of the continent. Okay? The region is, you see, so here particularly the wind uplift and descended between 25 to 35. Again, see, this is low pressure now, low pressure belt. It means wind is expected to uplift, will descend and also descend in downward, and the wind will uplift and descend in downward. So wherever you see, here low pressure will be uplift and descend here to create high pressure here, and in this side also when it will descend in the polar zone, it will create high pressure now. So actually wherever there is downward descending, downward descending, high pressure is created. Upward uplifting will cause low pressure. Here upward uplifting, that's why low pressure. Here downward descending, and near the pole, downward descending near the pole, that's why high pressure condition prevail. Na? It is clear na? So what is the characteristic of this zone? It is clear now, right? Dynamically induced. Now see, third zone is, actually 25 to 35 degree latitude is also referred to as horse latitude. Okay, is also referred to as horse latitude in ancient time, right? When trader of the horse used to cross this, particularly this latitudinal zone in the sea, because of the high pressure, right? Imbalance. And due to imbalance, they were throwing some horses in the sea, right? That's why this zone came to be known as horse latitude. More particularly to be noted, though most of the book write that 25 to 35 degree is broadly referred to as horse latitude, but you must know that 25 to 35 degree, if the option in UPSC prelims will be 25 to 35 degree north, and second option will be 25 to 25 degrees south, then 25 to 35 degrees south will be the true answer. Okay, this is clear now? Not north, right? In the south it is more intensified. Okay, so what is the character of this zone? This how this pressure belt, this equatorial low pressure belt is thermally induced pressure belt. This is thermally induced, right? This is dynamically induced. This is also dynamically induced pressure belt. Getting well now? Right? Again you see, third pressure belt is subpolar low pressure belt. Subpolar low pressure belt is located between 60 to 65 degree north and also in northern hemisphere, and also between 60 to 65 degree north south in southern hemisphere. It is clear now? This pressure belt is very close to that of the polar circle, that is 66.5 degree north and 66.5 degree south are referred to as polar circle. 66.5 degree north is referred to as Arctic circle because it is very close to the Arctic Sea, and 66.5 degrees south is referred to as Antarctic circle because it is very close to Antarctic Sea. Okay. So they are the 66.5 degrees, the boundary line of the polar zone. Polar zone is characterized by low temperature, and hence low temperature is expected in this zone also, in the adjacent zone, right? Temperature will be remarkably low in between 66 and 60 to 65 degree north and 65 to 60 to 65 degrees south now, right? And hence high pressure is expected there. High pressure zone, creation of high pressure zone is expected there now. But again you see, this zone is characterized by subpolar low pressure belt. Here subpolar low pressure belt is created in the northern hemisphere, and also subpolar low pressure belt is created in southern hemisphere. Getting well now? Right? Actually you see, this is 60 to 65 due to upward upliftment of the air. The figure is clear that wind is ascending in upward direction, that causes the formation of the low pressure. Here again particularly you see in this zone the wind is ascending in upward direction, that's why low pressure formation occur in this zone. It is clear now? So if you will compare this with that of the thermal factor, right, then thermal theory failed to explain this, because temperature is low, then high pressure is expected, but in this zone there occur the formation of low pressure now. So there are two factors on the basis of which one can explain the origin of low pressure in between 60 to 65 degree latitude in both the hemisphere. First factor is, as you know that there is a flatness at the pole, that's why the part of the Earth's surface located between 60 to 65 is of curved nature. Right, due to curved nature of the surface, the wind are not allowed to extend on the Earth's surface effectively, and they are diverted outside. Okay, consequently low pressure is created. This is one way on the basis of which you can explain the origin of low pressure in this zone. What I said is the area is of curved nature. The curved nature not allow the air to extend effectively, and the wind are diverted outside. That's why low pressure belt is created, right? because the earth also rotates, you know, so dynamic factor is also there. Due to dynamism of the earth and curved nature of the surface, wind are diverted outside. That's why low pressure belt is created. This is one explanation of the formation of low pressure. Okay. Second effective explanation of origin of the low pressure here is, you know that this is the westerly wind, okay, and this is polar easterly wind. Polar easterly, getting well now? Right? Polar easterly wind is the wind of the polar zone. Westerly wind is the wind of the temperate zone. Westerly wind is warm, right? And polar easterly wind is cold. Okay? And they are converging along a line. You know that whenever there occur the convergence of the two contrasting air mass, a front is created. So a front will be created here, right, between 60 to 65 degree latitude. Along this side, there remain particularly cold air mass, and along this there cold air mass, and along this side there is a warm air mass. Getting well now? The front formation occur, and along the slope of the front there occur the upliftment of the air, right? And upliftment certainly causes the formation of low pressure. It is clear now, right? What explanation is given? It is clear that actually 60 to 65 degree latitude in both the hemisphere is the most ideal zone for the front formation, because this is the zone where there occur per convergence of two contrasting air mass along a line. Okay, one air mass is polar easterly cold wind, and second one is westerly warm wind. Consequently, front is formed in this zone, and along the slope of the front there occur upward upliftment of the air, causing low pressure in this zone. Ekdam clear hai na? Right? So why this zone actually why low pressure is created in this zone? It is clear na? It is due to the two factors. One is due to the diversion of the wind, right? Deflection of the wind from the zone due to the curved nature, and second explanation can be on the basis of front formation, because along the slope of the front, right, there occur general tendency of the wind to uplift in upward direction. It is clear now, right? So what is the causative why low pressure belt is created here? It is clear now. You see, subpolar low pressure belt in southern hemisphere is almost continuous, okay, but it is not continuous in northern hemisphere because of unequal distribution of land and the sea. And in northern hemisphere, subpolar low pressure belt is found in the form of several cells, right? And at different places it is known by different name. As for example, near Aleutian Island, it is referred to as Aleutian low. Near Iceland, it is referred to as Icelandic low. Right? In North America, it is referred to as Albert Low in Albert province. Okay? Right? So these are Albert Low, Aleutian Low, and Icelandic Low are the part of the subpolar low pressure belt in northern hemisphere. Near Iceland, Icelandic Low. Near Aleutian Island, it is Aleutian Low, and near particularly in North America, in the Albert province, it is referred to as Alberta Low. Getting well now? Next pressure belt is subpolar high pressure belt. It is clear now? So since very low temperature condition prevail in this zone, you know that T is inversely proportional to P, right? So that's why there is descending tendency of the air. Okay, since the temperature is so low that the winds are found in condensed form, forming high pressure belt in this zone. Getting well now? Right? And hence polar high pressure belt is thermally induced high pressure belt. Getting well now? So actually equatorial low pressure belt and polar high pressure belt is thermally induced, whereas subtropical high pressure belt and subpolar low pressure belt is dynamically induced pressure belt. Getting well now? Actually at every place you see the wind, I said that wind from low pressure belt uplift now, right? There occur upliftment of the wind from the low pressure, and the wind descend in the high pressure zone now. So you see the wind uplifted from this zone, diverted here, descended in this zone, Okay, and again return back. Getting well, this is low pressure, there will be upliftment of the air, it will deflect here, descend and will return back. Getting well now? Here again, another component, uplift, descend here, return back here. Getting well? Okay. Again from this low pressure, wind will ascend, deflect here and return back. From this low pressure, the wind will have such type of circulation. Getting well now? You see, this cell are formed now. Actually, this is A cell. Getting well now? A cell is between equatorial low pressure belt and subtropical high pressure belt. It is clear now? This cell is referred to as Hadley cell or lower latitudinal cell or tropical cell. Okay, what is the name of this cell? It is clear, right? The cell which is produced between equatorial low pressure belt and subtropical high pressure belt is referred to as Hadley cell, tropical cell or lower latitudinal cell. Okay, this is B1, B cell. B cell is produced between subtropical high pressure belt to subpolar low pressure belt na. B, subtropical high pressure belt to subpolar low pressure belt in northern hemisphere and also in southern hemisphere. You see in this picture, this is A and this is B na. This is B na. So B is between subtropical high pressure belt and subpolar low pressure belt. This is referred to as Ferrel cell or middle latitudinal cell or temperate cell. It is clear now? And this is third cell in the polar zone again, and this is also third cell now. C. So C is referred to as C cell is formed between subpolar low pressure belt and polar high pressure belt na. Getting well? This is referred to as polar cell or higher latitudinal cell. So there occurred the formation of three cells in either side of the in both the hemisphere. Northern hemisphere there are three cells and there also exist three cells in southern hemisphere na. This cell formation is referred to as trimeridional cell formation. Trimeridional cell formation. Trimeridional cell formation. Okay, and A is, there are three cells. A is referred to as Hadley cell or tropical cell or lower latitudinal cell. Hadley cell, tropical cell, Hadley cell, tropical cell or lower latitudinal cell. Hadley, tropical and lower latitudinal between equatorial low pressure belt and subtropical high pressure belt. Okay, you see second is Ferrel cell or middle latitudinal cell or temperate cell. Ferrel cell, middle latitudinal cell or temperate cell. Ferrel cell, middle latitudinal cell or temperate cell. Getting well? Between subpolar low pressure belt, subpolar low pressure belt and subtropical high pressure belt na. Okay, and third one is polar cell or higher latitudinal cell. Polar cell or higher latitudinal cell between subpolar low pressure belt and polar high pressure belt. Subpolar low pressure belt and polar high pressure belt. Getting well now? Getting well now? So we have three cell formation in northern hemisphere as well as in southern hemisphere. Getting well now? Okay, in northern hemisphere as well as in southern hemisphere. One important point, I am drawing a figure of subtropical Hadley cell. So actually this is Hadley cell. This is uplifting part and this is descending part na. So upliftment of the Hadley cell occur between 0 to 10, you know. It is visible na? It is visible. right? 0 to 10, between 0 to 10, and descend between 25 to 35 degree, 35 degree na. Okay, so there are 4 components of this cell. This is first, this is second, this is third, or you can say this is first, second, third and fourth. Okay, this is Hadley cell, right? First component of Hadley cell is referred to as surface wind. Second is ascending column of air current. Third one is subsurface wind, and fourth one is descending column of air current. It is clear, right? There are 4 components in each cell. First is surface wind, second is ascending current, third is subsurface wind, and fourth one is descending air current. It is clear now? So actually you see the surface wind component of Hadley cell is referred to as trade wind. What is the name of the surface wind component of the Hadley cell? It is clear now? This is trade wind and this is trade wind, getting well? Okay, this is trade wind, this is trade wind, and this is also trade wind because this is surface wind component of the Hadley cell A. Got it? Right? The surface wind component of Hadley cell is referred to as trade wind. It means particularly you see trade wind if in prelims the question will be trade wind is associated with. First is Hadley cell, second is Ferrel, and third is polar. It is obvious that it is associated with the Hadley cell. Getting well now? Again see, if this is subpolar, this is Ferrel cell. So in Ferrel cell, first is surface